Welcome to Brewed in Monmouth, the real estate tea with Kate and Doreen. We're here to talk homes, hometown gems, and real conversations with the entrepreneurs and locals who keep Monmouth County buzzing. I'm Kate, and as always,
I'm Doreen. Each week, we're bringing you the voices behind the businesses, the stories behind the sales, and the tea you need to hear. So grab your favorite drink and let's get into it. Okay, so we're so excited to welcome Carmine Visone, president and owner of Home Away from Home Academy, located in Aberdeen, New Jersey, to be with us here today.
Thank you. Nice being here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
oh, it's just so special to have you on, especially as we were chatting before we went live to air. We want to hear all about the Visone method and everything. So tell us a little about your school and how you got started.
Okay, my wife worked at the school as an assistant teacher. She was friends with the owner. There was 0 children at the school at the time that she was employed, and they actually had to go out and find children to get involved with the school. At the time that that she was employed at the school, there were no quote-unquote daycare centers. It was 30, when you think about going back 30 years, really, they were very few between. So they built up this, what at that time was a daycare center, 1 classroom, 1,000 square feet. They had maybe 15 children eventually after the first 9 months, and then it went to 30 children in the second year. Phyllis was very friendly with the owner at that time, and we went out to dinner, and at that time the owner was a special ed teacher at the public school system. And at dinner, when Phyllis went to the ladies' room, he asked me if we would be interested in buying the school. And while Phyllis was still in the ladies' room, I agreed and said yes, and consummated the deal. And when she came back out, Jackie,
cheers, toast.
Jackie and Santos said, "Congratulations, Phyllis." And she said, "To what?" And she said, "Well, now you own Home Away from Home Academy." And she almost died.
Oh, so, was she excited?
No, actually.
Overwhelmed.
She was overwhelmed, but not excited. I was always the entrepreneur and the business person. So she was very happy just teaching in the classroom. So when we purchased the school, we decided to say those were her responsibilities as far as the educational development was concerned, and I would handle all the business end. But at that time, I still worked in Manhattan. I was a senior vice president for an international bank for North America. So I was in charge of multiple functions in the bank. I reported directly to the chairman, which gave me a lot of entrepreneurial spirit because I was very independent in what I did. I actually began my first business at 17 years old. So I continued to own businesses my whole life. I'm truly an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody that has it in their blood. It's not something that you could make or do or develop. You need to have it. So my grandfather was a very successful entrepreneur. And I lived in the same house with them in Brooklyn. And I kind of grew up understanding exactly what he was doing and his excitement in doing and building his own business.
It was in your DNA.
Yeah, it's in your DNA.
A lot of people don't think a school is a business, but it definitely is.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there is the whole business end of the school, and there is the academic end of the school. There are 2 separate components that need to be married together in order for it to be successfully run.
But coming from I was a banker for a while. It's kind of a sterile environment. How was that transition into dealing with people's children? Not that they're a commodity, because they're not, but it had to be.
Nor are they sterile.
Yeah, no.
When they started a couple of weeks old.
I have to tell you, and this is very funny, because the adjustment for me was I still worked in Manhattan and owned the school. I had 2 things going on. In Manhattan, I had 25 to 30 gentlemen working for me, okay? And I had to adjust now to only women working for me. And that adjustment is huge.
Oh, I bet.
Huge, because I would have to call men into my office and criticize them as to what they were doing and how to make their performance and job better. And we would argue and curse at each other and then go out to drink. When you call in a woman into your office and we sat down with teachers and I would say, this isn't happening the right way, there was a lot of tears, a lot of crying, and a lot of hatred.
It doesn't go away right away either.
And it doesn't go away. No, there was no going out to drink that night and settling all your differences.
But everything that you were doing for the children, basically,
Absolutely.
right? And to think about the impact you had on the local community. I mean, like you said, you have students who are being driven in from Staten Island, right? So of the Monmouth County, Staten Island world, all those students that started with you at, I don't know what age, from the very young that you would take on all the way up to maybe first or second grade at sometimes. Think the impact you and Phyllis and all the teachers there had on that true foundation of their education.
You know
socially,
what? That actually,
academically, emotionally.
Absolutely.
What a gift.
And I do agree with you 100%. And I get chills when you actually mention that, because for the first time last year, we actually had one of our students come back with their baby to be in our school. Well, the first thing I said to him was, if you tell anybody you came here at 3 years old, I break your face. but yes, and we have now another one coming back to the school. The impact that we made on thousands and thousands of children's lives and the success of where they are and what they're doing today is overwhelming. I could actually get tears in my eyes when we walk through stores, my wife and I, and people come up to us and tell us how where their child is, who is a pilot, or who's a doctor, or who's an attorney. It's just overwhelming on how well that they are doing, tremendously.
What made you change from a daycare to a school?
I didn't. My wife had a very unique philosophy of education for children in her mind. Daycare is a place where you bring your children and they play all day and you build socialization skills and things like that. My wife's philosophy of education, and we follow this to today, and studies now have been done to confirm this, from 0 to 7 years old, our brains, the human brain, develops 50% of its knowledge your entire life. From 7 to 100, you learn your other 50%. Wow. So now think about when we talk about, we always say children are like sponges and they could learn so much. It's absolutely true. And if you present it to a child in a very caring, loving, and nurturing way, and you're educating them, but they don't really know you're educating them, it's phenomenal. Statistics now have shown us, which allowed us to publish this book, is that 35% of the children that left our school were going into the gifted and talented programs in the schools that they were going into. 35%. The other 60% were remaining in the top 10% of their classes.
Wow.
And
so I can attest to that because my daughters went to your school. Talking about them being sponges at such a young age is they teach them second languages.
Yes.
Music, art is such a intrinsic part of the learning that I think, Phyllis's idea of what a child should learn is all encompassing of so it's not just work,
academics.
Academic. It just hits on so many different levels because every child is different and every child learns differently too,
Absolutely.
right? Some are more artistic, some are more musically inclined.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the really amazing things that I noticed as a young mom with what my girls were learning and bringing home.
Yeah. It's the development of the whole child. Mm-hmm. That's Phyllis's unique philosophy. Even doing, which we do musical performances with the children, like she actually is a music teacher, productions. So having children memorize lines, having children memorize songs, actually is an academic skill because it's increasing their test taking, their memorization skills without even knowing it. Teaching a child foreign language, we didn't expect them at 4 years old to learn Italian or Spanish and speak it fluently, even though many children picked it up unbelievable, that we now do circle time in a foreign language. But it increases their brain cells to learn something that they're not normally hearing, so that the brain is developing in all aspects of what it's doing. and adjusting them for their love of learning, adjusting them to higher level education like no one has ever seen. In order for us to publish this book, we actually were approached by educators in New York, actually came to our school hearing about the success of how children were doing, and they actually sat in front of us and said, you know, why aren't you guys documenting your philosophy here? Because there's the Montessori method, there's this method. Maybe you should document the Visone method because it's very unique in what you're doing.
Can you show us that book that you have now?
Yeah.
Because you made it so much fun for all these children to learn. The teachers have fun. The students all have fun learning. So this book can be found everywhere today.
Anywhere.
I know
online.
it's a bestseller. I don't know how many copies you've sold over the years.
Yeah,
but
I don't know
we have
either.
it. It's a fantastic book.
One of the fun things I think one of the fun things that I've done is that our first book signing was at Barnes & Noble in Homedale. And we had a little gathering with our friends and family thinking that, well, nobody is going to show up for this.
You guys just support us.
Okay? And it was just our family that would support us, and we'd sit there and sign books. 4 hours, my wife and I sat in Barnes & Noble library. 4 hours, the line was out the door.
Wow. Was it mostly former students or educators or?
Everybody.
Yeah.
It was former students. It was people that just heard the word about it, that the book had been published. But it was a tremendous feat for us, a tremendous accomplishment. I'm very proud of the book.
So proud of it. You really should be. I mean, congratulations on it again. But Kate, both as moms, we're blessed with the most important job in the world, right? Teaching this completely dependent blessing that we're kind of figuring it out as we go along too.
Oh, you're damn right we are.
Right. At least I am. Still, right? Whether they're 2 or 20, you're still figuring it out because everybody's different, circumstances are always different. But having a book like this and having moms be able to use this as a resource to help them is just phenomenal.
Does it teach you how to teach? Because I'm just not naturally a good teacher. My husband comes from a long line of educators, like mostly all of them. I'm like, I explain it once. Why didn't you get that? I told you.
need to do it once.
Yeah.
It's a progression.
And she has 3 children.
Yeah,
and a husband.
It's a progression. First of all, it is more difficult for a parent to teach their own child than there is for a teacher or stranger to teach, if you've noticed that.
For sure.
You know, like my daughter is a speech pathologist, and some parents could not sit down with their children to teach them speech or language or pronunciations. They just don't want to listen. They don't have the time or the patience. But now you can see there is a tremendous difference when an educator is actually working with a child and developing them. It's very hard for a parent to actually try to accomplish that.
Because I don't think a parent sees their child the same way the world sees them. So when you're with your child day in and day out, 24 hours a day, you understand them. They don't even have to speak sometimes. You know what they want, what they need, right?
Yes.
But someone from the outside might see or hear things differently than you as a loving mom would, right? So you need those different resources, and you need someone to say, hey, I think you might need a little this or a little that, right? And when you approach them in the right way, you're just trying to help them.
I couldn't even teach any of my kids to ride a bike. I really couldn't. I had to pay someone.
Yeah, my husband did that.
Well, if you go back on what I said earlier, the brain develops 50% of its knowledge.
That's incredible.
From the time of birth. So a lot of people don't understand that so much because even an infant just born can listen to classical music and brain cells are connecting. A lot of people don't understand that. In our philosophy of education, we have children that begin at 3 months and we're licensed to 5th grade and go to elementary grades. And I have to have certified teachers working in every single classroom. So now we start at point 1 at 3 months old, okay? They come to us. They are listening to classical music. They're developing motor skills, hand and eye coordination. They're doing sensory perception already at 3 months. Now, a lot of parents actually do that when they're with their children, the feeling of touch, sensory perception. There are things that moms do that they don't even realize what they're doing. The singing, the feeding, the taste, the smell. But we have certified people now working in the infant room, developing all of that sophisticatedly. and the children don't even recognize it, but they're doing it. So each year we progress that development stage from waddlers, toddlers, preschool, pre-K. When they get to kindergarten in our school, our children are reading, writing, they get report cards. It is equivalent to a first grade level in public school and not even more. And that is incredible because what we're teaching, we're advancing children a year to a year and a half more than what the public school systems do.
Without the pressure.
Without the pressure. Absolutely without the pressure.
One thing I see as a mom, I think the pressure on kids today is unbelievable. At such a young age. You're cutting kids from baseball teams at 6 years old. That's insane to me. How do you even know? And how do you know if they're going to be good? Because some of them just don't develop physically the way that they, in 2 years, that kid could be a stud. But they're so discouraged from being a 6-year-old.
Right.
Because they're hurt, and they don't forget that.
But I have to tell
My
you
husband
also,
got cut from a varsity basketball team. Joe, if you're listening, you're going to kill me. But like, it's a raw nerve. If I bring it up to this day, he's like, oh yeah, I got cut.
but you know, something that's very interesting about being in education for so many years in this is that when we first purchased the school, there was 0 children with special needs. 0. The first 5 years, maybe 1 child came into the school that may have, which we identify at 2 years old in the classroom, whether there's attention deficit disorders or something else going on where parents don't even know that because they're only dealing with their child. They don't know it against 20 other children to see the development process of what's happening. Today, right now today, we have 2 to 3 children in every single classroom with special needs.
All the more reason why having a school like yours is a wonderful resource for them, because they can maybe not overcome it because there's so many different factors that obviously involved, but that you have teachers who are able to work with them.
Yes.
And bring out the best in them to let them learn and grow and thrive in an environment.
Yeah.
It's really, the school is amazing. And Carmine, I do have to mention, it's so much fun, and they probably have the most epic Halloween celebration
Absolutely.
in all the area. I don't think that there's
Absolutely.
another school that has the Halloween celebration that
We
you
actually
do.
were on News 12
Yeah.
about 3 times.
What do you do?
Huge. It's insane. We have a
DJ,
DJ.
yeah.
We have probably 700 to 800 people that come to see the parades, and the children, everyone gets dressed up, the teachers get dressed up, and the children parade out, but they just don't walk around, they perform. We make them do performances where they're dancing, and the parents are there taking, and now parents get dressed up. I have parents
Grandparents.
leaving the school now this year, graduated, and some of the dads are saying, would you mind if we just came back for every Halloween? Because they would get dressed up and be a part of it. It's
that's great.
pretty incredible.
It really is so cool.
One thing, people are kind of hard on the millennials, but I think parents, especially dads, are so much more involved now. Having been in school for 30
huge.
years, don't you agree?
Huge.
Yeah.
We have dads picking up children because moms and dads are both professional workers, and we have more dads involved with their coming with their backpacks, coming with their diaper changes, or coming with formulas, or coming with their books, working with them on their homework. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal.
I think dads today really respect their wives' careers.
Absolutely.
And there's a completely different balance than when you had children. When my husband was a dad, it was just, it's very different. I see it with my nieces and nephews and friends, that I know have children, which is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
I think that the more influence a child has from both the mom and the dad, or, the two parents, is just, they just thrive
Absolutely.
that much more for it.
Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. I've never changed. I have 3 children. I've never changed one of their diapers.
Have you
Really?
changed your grandchildren's diapers?
Yes,
Oh, let's see.
but I never changed one of their diapers. And today, my son-in-laws or my son, that's part of their routine of changing diapers and formula and everything else. It's a completely different world in which we live.
Yeah.
Totally.
And better for it,
Much better
I really
for it.
do think having the double influence from both parents
Absolutely.
just helps a child.
When we do open school night, we get both parents present, not just one. They want to be informed. They want to know. Even the highly professional doctors and surgeons that we have, they're very involved in the educational process. Listen, nobody is going to put their child in a private school with the reputation and development process that we have and not be on top of what they're doing. That's key. You know, it's very, very key. You know, you have to want to be involved in the process of your child's educational development all the way through college. You know,
and the bond that the child builds with the teacher or the educator could be the same bond that the parent builds, and
Absolutely.
then they understand it, and it's truly a joint effort of raising that child.
Yeah.
And it just has to help.
Yeah.
Every which way.
So if someone wanted to find you for next year, because you're fully enrolled for September, right?
Yes.
What is the process? When do you enroll?
Well,
And starting from what? Just go through again. What age to what grade?
Yeah.
Well, we begin school at 3 months, and we're licensed to 5th grade, so we have an elementary classification. We're also accredited school and licensed by the state, but we start at 3 months and we go through kindergarten or 1st grade, and people will come to us a year before. Because of our reputation, everyone knows, being in the community for over 30 years, people are very familiar with the reputation that we have, and if they want their children to be in the school, how and the process they work. I don't want to sound obnoxious by any sense of the imagination, but ladies who are pregnant will actually come to our school, or moms pregnant in our school will already register their child for when the child may be born 7 or 8 months later.
Because there's only limited space. There are only so many
Especially with
seats or
infants.
cribs or whatever it might
absolutely.
be.
We don't
sure.
overcrowd. In order for us to have the reputation that we maintain, and that's a good point, Doreen, we don't overcrowd. There is just 15 babies in the infant room, and in classes there are 10 children. Every age group has a certain statistic as to the size of the room and the age group of how many teachers you would have. The ratio for teacher to student ratio differs from every age group. So for instance, in kindergarten, you can have 18 students with 1 teacher. And then 1st grade, there's nothing after that. But in pre-K, it's 1 teacher to 12 students. In preschool, it's one teacher to every 10. But we don't leave a teacher alone in the class. So if we had 15 students, we have 2 teachers.
Okay.
But we can't, and also, it's a very unique process in licensing. They will come in and measure, and a lot of parents don't know this, they measure the size of the room for occupancy first.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And then they say you could only fit 20 kids in this class. So if the children are 3 years old, you could only have 20 children in this class, even though the ratio is 1 to 10. You can only put 20 kids in here. You can't have 25 because you're over ratio in occupancy. So it's very, a lot of people don't realize there's 2 parts to the formula.
Right, when they're on the phone begging you, please, 1 more seat, take my child, you legally can't do it. And it's a heartbreaker, I'm sure.
It's a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Even when I can tell you stories that will blow you away, that people actually come and under the papers on my desk, they have money sitting there to try to get their children in the school.
Oh, wow.
And we won't do that because I have to be in ratio. We have to maintain the status that we have, and that's, we stick by the reputation.
Your license on the line, too.
Well,
The reputation
it's
that you
not
built
even the
over
license, because I have to tell
all the
you,
other
God
children.
forgive me, licensing is another animal unto itself, but being an accredited school with Middle States accreditation, it's a whole other ballgame on how they respect and maintain what you have to do every single day. Is extremely important. So
Is Phyllis still in the classroom, or is she a director of curriculum?
she is the director of the school, and we have an assistant director of the school. She prefers to work in the classroom than administratively.
Yeah, I understand that.
So in the office,
loves
I work in the office full time. I have an assistant or an assistant director that works full time, and we have a student administrator that works in the office full time. So in the office, we have 3 full-time people
Wow.
working
And
in
how
the
many
office.
students?
Close to 200.
Wow. Yeah, it's a nice
And
size school.
38 teachers. And, we have to, there's a lot involved because you have people calling out sick, And you can't have an empty class. You have to have it filled by a teacher. So we have to have a sub list. We have to have teachers lined up that are ready to come in at a moment's notice. It's amazing how the public school systems work it, which I don't do it that way. They have a database, and teachers go online if they're calling out sick, and there's a list of all the substitutes. And the superintendent actually monitors all the teachers that are out and the substitutes that are matched up that are coming in. Yeah, which is, we're a little bit manual doing that, but when you're talking about hundreds of teachers in a school district, they have to maintain who's what, where, and when at all times.
But you kind of handpick your subs. You want the same
Oh,
level
absolutely.
of teaching and caring going on that the original teacher had. You know?
Well, so believe it or not, we have teachers that have been with our school for 22 years, 25 years,
Is
20
Jody
years.
still there?
Excuse who's?
Jody?
No.
Jody was one of your first teachers. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we have a few teachers, I think 3 or 4 teachers who have retired from our school, but are coming back because they want to substitute.
Yeah, less responsibility, kind
Which
of,
is,
right?
we call them when we need them, and they say yes or no, we can come in or can't come in, but they do an amazing job. They're familiar with the policies and procedures of the school,
Yeah, that's
and it works
amazing.
out
Can't
An
really
easy
well.
transition, yeah.
But I have to say, I go to school every single day with a smile on my face, because no matter how many problems that you have at home, when you walk through those doors and they're saying, Mr. V or Miss Phyllis, we love you, and they really are attached to their educators, it's phenomenal.
Wrapping their little arms around your legs, and just really, it's just
phenomenal.
a beautiful
Everything
situation. Yeah.
that was bothering you and bills that you needed to pay, it completely goes away. Their hearts are so open and so free of stress and problems, and to be around that every day is a gift.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
It's a gift, truly.
Yeah, and the community, like I said earlier, you're a gift to the community.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
that's really
that.
why I wanted to bring you on. And just, I mean, everybody always, I'm like, home away from home, home away from home, home away from home. I say it all the time, based on personal experience and knowing the family. You know, you're just a wonderful family. Your children are wonderful. Phyllis is a gift, and
Thank you.
you just bring so much joy
Thank you.
to
I appreciate
the
that.
community. So I'm really excited for you. I wanted to congratulate you on your 30th anniversary.
Thank you.
What an amazing feat. You made it through COVID and everything else in this crazy world. But you're out there thriving on Route 34
Yes.
in Aberdeen. What's the
Yes.
exact address again?
1182 Highway 34, Aberdeen, New Jersey.
Right. Kind of right at the top of 34 and Van Brackle.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yep, right at the end. It's the border between Homedale and Aberdeen, right there at Van Brackle,
Right.
that we have.
So you have the capability of pulling from so many other towns too, right? Not only, you know, Staten Island, like I think I earlier mentioned, but Homedale, Colts-Neck, Aberdeen, Matawan, and Manalapan and Marlboro.
Well,
and
one of the
whatnot.
things that I saw when we purchased the school was that Aberdeen seems to be the heart, nucleus of many different towns surrounding it.
Yeah.
We have a large shopping center, but they're pulling from Marlboro, from Colts-Neck, from Homedale. So we have, and one of the greatest things also is transportation into the city is right there. So we've had truly a gift location and drawing from different towns.
What are your
That's actually an
hours?
excellent point.
Sorry, excuse me.
We open up at 7:30 in the morning. We have before-hour programs. School actually begins at 8:15, and we go to 3:30. And then we have after-hour programs. And one of the most unique things that we maintain in the school is we have a school of dance in the school. We have where, if you want to have your child go to dancing school, we have ballet and tap, so you don't have to be traveling to different places. We have sports camps that they run that they could be, and karate. So we've infiltrated a lot of different extracurricular activities, so parents don't have to run all over the place. It's a one-stop shopping. Your children can go to school and at the same time go to their extracurricular activity of dance.
Yeah, they're after school right in the same,
Absolutely.
on the same campus.
On the same campus.
Oh, that's great.
Do you have summer hours?
Yes, we do. We open up for summer camp. We have summer camp going on right now. I smile because the kids are, we don't have a pool. That's a little too difficult, and
The insurance on
yeah,
that,
I wouldn't want that. So we do have sprinkler systems. We have AstroTurf in our playground, and the kids have a great time. They have a great time. And we have sports camps that run every Monday for the kids. We have gentlemen that come in and run sports programs for them. So we have a summer camp program. It's not as sophisticated as Rolling Hills, where kids are on rowboats and sleeping overnight. No,
You don't need
But
that,
it's
though.
fun.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's safe, it's local, and it gives the parents the break that they might need to work or maybe take care of other responsibilities, whatever it is.
And parents today are very, very busy, more than I see that with my own children. We have 9 grandchildren that have gone through our whole process, which is even more enjoyable because now we've seen them leave the school. They're all in the gifted programs and see how they're pursuing, just being part of your own to be there. And seeing our own children develop is amazing.
Yeah, they're all positioned in perfect spots in the world today. They really are. I mean, I don't know how personal you want to get, but it's a great opportunity
Great
for
launching pad.
anybody who. Yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah,
Great launching
it is
pad.
a great launching pad.
Yeah.
Only because it's understanding how well children develop, how they want to have that need and desire to develop, and watch how that grows. It's phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Really
Yes.
appreciate
Thank you for
having
Thank you
having
very
me.
much.
I appreciate it.
Give our love to Phyllis and
will.
give a hug to all those little kids there.
I will. One day, I invite you to come and visit the school if you want. You're welcome to do so.
That would be fun. It was great just hearing Liz's voice on the phone. I was like,
know.
Liz.
Liz is
She's
there
amazing.
25 years.
I know. I love her. She was
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah, she's hitting, she's 75, but she I have to say, I think the gift of working with young children actually keep you
you young.
young.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But what a testament to the school, too, to have somebody there for 25 years. And that's just one person. I'm sure there's
Yes.
many that you can mention.
Miss
that are there.
Sherry, she's there.
If you're interested in finding out more about Home Away from Home Academy, please DM us and we'll give you some information.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.